With the budget round the corner, people always go back to the drawing board to make their wish list. There are three important things which are there on top of my wish list. The first is that in the context of GST, the finance minister should seriously consider abolishing the negative list of input tax credit. I think the entire edifice of GST is based on seamless credit mechanism, and this major impediment is going to is otherwise coming in the way of full benefits accruing in under the GST system. The second is it's high time that we look at reducing the cost of transaction, and one way of doing it is to bring in fuels, including electricity, within the fold of GST. Fuel consumption today accounts for a major part of the working capital and the cost of production. Fuels contain and are loaded with heavy taxes. If they are brought into the net of GST, then it will ease the doing of business and also reduce the cost of the transaction. The third and the most important today scenario is that we still don't have a robust dispute resolution mechanism under GST. There is no tribunal. There is a lot of litigation and a lot of value being locked into disputes, and it is important that we have a high-powered tribunal to unlock the values and unlock the taxes which are stuck in various dispute resolutions. Sorry to say, but the authority for advanced ruling has just miserably failed. It's not served the purpose, and therefore one is looking very eagerly to the setting up of the tribunals under the GST. Three things which I would not like the finance minister to do. One is not add to the list of 28% rate. Two is to align a lot of provisions of the GST with the foreign trade policy as well as the customs laws. One example of that would be Rule 89B and Rule 9610, which deals with refunds to exporters and certain benefits available to exporters in terms of the input tax credit. These have been retrospectively amended. These are really causing hardship to the exporter community. And this is precisely because there is no alignment of the GST laws with the other indirect tax laws as well as the foreign trade policy, which is directed towards encouraging exports. The third would be to not disregard the recommendations of the GST Council. There are many recommendations which have gone a begging, and the government, which today is constitutionally relying on a GST Council, must respect its recommendation. One great example is the liability to pay interest on the net tax liability and not on the gross tax liability. Section 50 of the Central GST Act was amended, but contrary to the recommendations of the GST Council, was not given retrospective effect. And therefore, it's important that the finance minister factors in as many recommendations which are industry friendly into her budget. I think the list is never ending, but the few that I mentioned, if they get the attention of the finance minister, I think it will go a long way in ameliorating the otherwise sad situation because of the pandemic.